We are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our second segment, which will be talking about the NL Power Rankings, my first one of the year. Now, before we do that, I would like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get back into the show today. All right, so we'll be doing my first Power Rankings of the season. And again, I said I wanted to do this as a new thing for Fridays because at the end of the week, a lot of games have happened, so I did want to do that. Now, I want to mention that we're only into the first week of the season. Most teams have played around 4 to 7 games. 4 to 8, actually. I said 5 to 8. I'll say 5 to 8. Most teams play 5 to 8 games, and they're not. They're going to be a little wonky because the start of the season is always wonky. So if you see some teams that are not going to finish high in these, finish high now, you know why. Again, I want to make this clear that it's very early, it's very preliminary, and that's why these might look weird. And that is what the situation here is. I promise that. All right. So first off, we're going to go from 15 to 1. First off, at number 15, we of course have the Miami Marlins. Now, there's really no surprise here at all. The Marlins are the only winless team in the entire MLB, and they have looked bad while doing it. I'll say that. They've blown some leads. They've not scored. They've had some awful pitching performances. So, not much positives here right now for the Marlins. I don't think much is going on with them. So, yeah, definitely not anything positive going on with this organization right now. So I do have them at a 15. Feel pretty good about it. Only one this team in MLB. I think that it's pretty clear that they should be 15 and deserve to be 15. Next, at 14, I have the Colorado Rockies. Now, this shouldn't be a surprise either. I've talked about my dismay for the Rockies and how much I hate this organization and this team because they are so incompetent and they don't know what they're doing. I mean, they're so bad, and it's, they're really bad. Their pitching's bad. Their hitting's bad. Their front office is bad. Their prospects are eh. So not really a surprise they're here. I mean, they're 1-6 right now. They did get a win against the Cubs, which is a good team. So, woo, I guess. I don't know. But the pitching's looked really bad, and that's one of the main reasons I do have them at 14. So, yeah, not really a big surprise here, I'd say. I think everyone was kind of expecting the Rockies to finish pretty low on this list, and that is what happened here. At 13, I have the Washington Nationals. Now, maybe the Nationals are a little too low considering they're 2-4, and some teams, presumably the ones above them, are worse than that, but I just can't put them higher than this. I mean, they don't have much going for them. They've had a pretty easy schedule so far, so those 2 wins don't mean much. So, yeah, I don't want to put the Nationals higher than this. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. They really don't have anything going for them right now. They have a good young core, but the fact is they just don't have that much talent right now, and it's just they're a bad team. I think that's pretty clear. So I do have them at 13, even though they have maybe surprised some people with how not horrible they've been. So I do have them there. At number 12, you might call me crazy, but I got the New York Mets. Now, you might think, okay, you're biased, you're a Mets fan. You don't want to put them at 14. They're 1-5. They just got their first win yesterday. How could you, Look, here's the thing. They have the same amount of wins as the Rockies, so I think, just going off talent there, who would you rather have, the Rockies roster or the Mets roster? I think it's pretty clear. And the Nationals are only 1 game ahead of them, and I think the Mets have had a harder schedule. They've played the Brewers and Tigers, who have both gone off to really good starts, and the Mets have just more sheer talent. So I did have the Mets 12. I didn't have them any higher, so I think it's fair. And I think a lot of right now what has to do with the Mets is just simply luck. I mean, their star hitters have not been performing. That's not going to last forever. They're going to get reinforcements with J.D. Martinez. They just got a new shiny depth piece with Julio Teheran. So they had a nice walk-off yesterday win. So I think that a lot of the Mets' struggles right now are not going to stick. And I do think they're not going to be as horrible as right now. I think eventually Alonso's going to start to hit. Lindor's going to start to hit. McNeil's going to start to hit. Nimmo's going to start to hit. We just have to wait for it, and it might be a little bit, but I think that they're going to be a fine team still, and that is why I do have them at number 12, but I couldn't put them any higher than that just because of their record right now and how they have been performing, but they still have the sheer amount of talent. So At number 11, I have the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, I did want to give the Cardinals a little bit of slack as they've had a hard schedule so far. I mean, they've been playing they played the Dodgers to start off with, so that's not anything to, joke at and just say, oh, wow, that's an easy team. So I didn't really want to do that to them, but I'm just not high in this team still, and that's why I do have them here. I just don't think they're that good, and I don't think that they really have much going for them. Now, the reason they are 4-4 is because they played the Marlins. Who are an easy team, obviously. They played the Padres, who are a hard team as well. So, I mean, yeah, not a fan of this team, and they've had a hard schedule. And they're still 4-4. They played the Marlins, though, so it's kind of evened out. So I did want to put them at 11 above the Mets. They still have a good hitting core. They still have some things going for them, but that, like expected, that pitching core has just been bad. So can't put them much higher than that. Number 10 here, I have the San Francisco Giants. Now, the Giants are 2-5, so you may be asking, okay, well, why in the world are they above teams like the Cardinals, like the Nationals, who have better records than them? Well, it's kind of in the same boat as the Cardinals, as they've had a really tough schedule to start off with. They've played the Dodgers, they played the Padres, two really great teams, so I want to give them some slack. And also, a lot of their players are new, a lot of their talent is new, and because of that, I think it's going to take some time for everyone to get congealed and kind of together. So I think getting that chemistry down is another thing with this Giants team because everyone is so new. So, yeah, I didn't want to kind of embarrass them and put them low. So, yeah, I put them here, and I feel pretty good about it at number 10. Yeah, even though they are 2-5, I think that I had to put them a little bit higher because of their schedule. I think being so early in the season, you definitely have to give them some slack, and you definitely have to take everything with a grain of salt, and that's what I'm doing here with the Giants. At number 9, I have the San Diego Padres. Padres have been impressive so far. I thought the offense has been really nice, even with some very clear holes at the end. Their pitching's been okay, but I think could have been better. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Padres do this season. I mean, they're 4-5, so very mediocre right now. So I can't really say too much about them, but I didn't want to have them too low. I thought right here, number 9 was a good spot for them, and that's where I kept them, and that's where I'm having them right now. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about the Padres here at number 9. At number 8, I am going to be having the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, this might be another head-scratcher for some people, as the Phillies are 2-5. But, I mean, they've had a hard schedule so far. They've played the Reds, who are a great team. They've played Atlanta, who, of course, is an amazing team. So I wanted to cut them some slack a little bit. I still think they have a really nice roster. I still think they have a lot of talent, and that's why I did put them here at number 8. So, yeah, I mean, nothing else to say here. 2-4, yes, but still a good team, still a lot of talent, and I did want to put them somewhat high, and that's what I do here, putting them at number 8 for the NL Power Rankings. So, yeah, there we go. At number 7, I have the first of a little run of NL Central teams here, the Chicago Cubs. Now, the Cubs are 4-2. They played a tough Rangers team. They played a non-tough Rockies team. So I guess those two kind of even out a little bit. So, yeah, oops, that's not good. Sorry about that. Didn't mean that. But that was an audio issue. I apologize about that. For here now, with the Cubs, I think a lot has been shown about them. I mean, their new additions have been performing pretty well. Bellinger's gone off to a nice start. Shelton Imanaga has gone off to a nice start. So, yeah, I think overall that the team has done really well. And I think that overall they have a lot to show for it. But I think other teams in the Central have been a little bit more impressive than them, which is why I only go 7. But still, I think there's been a lot for the Cubs right now in terms of talent and just showing what's going on with the team right now. So I did want to have them a little bit high at number 7. Number 6, I have the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds have been very impressive, playing a nice Phillies team, beating them. Their offense has been performing, even with some of their core pieces out, like Matt McClain. So I think that was also something that's a big positive for them. They played the Nationals, who were easy, but they played the Phillies, who were rough, especially in Philly. So I think that was a good win by them. They're playing the Mets starting tonight, so that'll be an interesting series for two teams on the definite ends different ends of the spectrum. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, I think the Reds have gotten off to a really nice start. Frankie Montas has been a really nice addition so far. So I like the additions they've made. I like what their offense has done. So yeah, overall, I'm excited about this Reds team and excited about what can happen with them. Going into the illustrious top 5, we have at number 5 the Milwaukee Brewers. Now the Brewers are currently 4-1 and have been very, very impressive, which is why I did end up putting them in the number 5 spot. Now, me, like a lot of people, expect them to not do great with the trades they've had to endure, with the injuries they've had to endure, the vastly different roster, but they performed really, really well. They swept the Mets. They split with the Twins, playing a tough Seattle team tonight, so we'll see how that happens. But yeah, I mean, the Brewers have been really, really well. The offense has been clicking. The base running has been great. The pitching has been okay. The offense has been really nice. The defense has been amazing. So I think there's a lot to like here with this scrappy young Brewers team. And even though they don't have the amount of talent they've had in the past, I still think there's a lot going for them. So yeah, if I'm a Brewers fan, I'd be definitely excited about what's going on here. And definitely happy about the team I have right now. Number 4, I have the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, the Diamondbacks are 4-3. Yes, so why are they this high? Because I still love this team. I've been a Diamondbacks fanboy in this team on this podcast for a little while now. I've loved what they've done I love what they did this offseason. I love the pieces they have. Still think they're an amazing team, and they've gotten a little bit of the short end of the stick. Playing the Yankees to start off with, which is a really hard team. Colorado was easy, but I mean, you blew them out, so I give credit there. So yes, they're only 4-3. But I think they've still been impressive with the amount of players that have been performing. The additions have been nice as well. They're getting some reinforcements, which we'll talk about later. So, yeah, I'm still a big fan of this Diamondbacks team. I still am a big fan of what they can do, the offense they have, the team they have. So, yeah, definitely excited about them and excited for what they can do. Going into the top 3 here, I have first of all at the number 3, the Atlanta Braves. Yes, the Braves are 3-2, but they've had a hard schedule so far, so I'm giving them a little bit of a break here. They played the White Sox. I won't lie, it was a bad loss. I mean, you should have at least won one game, which is why they're not number 2 on this list. I couldn't put them above that because of that loss. You also played the Phillies, who are a good team, and you beat them nice, so that was good. So I think that there's been a lot to like about this Braves season so far. I think there's been a lot to dislike, but overall, the talent is still there, the team is still there, the roster is still there, so I got to give it to them at number 3. I couldn't put them much lower than that. Anything below that would have felt like a travesty. So now at number 2, at 6-1, somehow it is the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, the Pirates got off to a great start last year and are doing the same. Now, the question is, can they maintain this hot start? The pitching's been on point. Yes, they've played some bad teams but in the Marlins and Nationals, but they beat them with force. They beat them in great ways, and the pitching has performed, the hitting has performed. So I think if you're a Pirates fan, I don't know. I think this is a fluke in the way of I don't think you're going to, be an 100-win team. But I still think that there's a lot going good for the Pirates right now. Maybe I underestimated them a little bit. I don't think so still. I still think they're not amazing, and I still think they're going to fall back down to earth. But as of right now, they've been performing really, really well. Everyone's been clicking. So props to them, and props to what's going on with them right now. So, yeah. Number 1, of course, I'm not going to talk about it much. It's the Dodgers. They're 7-1. They have 7-2. Sorry. They have the best roster in the league. They have the best amount of talent in the league. Not really much to say here. They're an amazing team, and the fact that they are number 1 shows how good they are, and I don't think anyone else could have been at this number 1 spot. So, yeah, there we go. Those are my first NL Power Rankings of the year. We'll be moving on to our third segment, which is going to be talking about the AL Power Rankings. So, yeah, you can see why I did that there. So, we're doing that, and we'll see you after the break. So, thanks, and bye.